Ladies and gents, Casual Gaming Dad here, and today I got a treat. I got a video for you I wanted to make regarding, since Diablo 4 is over, so let's talk about other things, right? I discovered a build, and shoutouts to MacroBioBoy, content creator here on YouTube, that introduced me to this build. He made a video about it over a month ago when the season started, and it is the Demon Machine Enchantress. Okay, so Enchantress is a build that's existed for quite a while. Actually, I've never utilized it. I've seen it used before, but in patch 2.6, it received a pretty massive buff, which made this build a lot more viable. So I'm going to talk a little bit about it, and the reason why the title of this video says budget/non-budget is because what I'm going to do first is I'm going to show you what I believe to be the essentials needed for the build, and then I'll show you the items that I used, which is, spoiler, it's not budget, and then I'll talk about some budget alternatives though. So, because I know lots of time people look for that, but I will say this is a top tier build, without a doubt. Okay. So let's start with the skills, because it is an Enchantress. So, okay. So obviously we're using enchant, so you're going to be maxing this completely out. You're going to be maxing out warmth because it's a synergy, and you're going to be maxing fire mastery. And that's it. That's literally it. That's the only things you need to make the build work. Everything else, 1 point wonders, such as teleport and static, and if you want frozen armor, those are all optional. Okay, let's go over the weapon that makes this build work the way it does. This is the Demon Machine. It's a unique Chukonu. It fires explosive arrows or bolts. We use bolts with the Chukonu, of course. It has 66% chance to pierce. It has added maximum damage, which is irrelevant, essentially. It's got a lot of AR, which is really, really great. It's got a lot of defense for some reason. It's got some mana. We'll take that. I have a 15 IAS, 8 fire resist jewel that I put in here. You want to put at least 15 IAS jewel, or you can just put a shale if you want, to reach the maximum attack frames breakpoint. So that's literally all you need for this build. Well, that's the weapon we're using. Another mandatory item, in my opinion, is a Razor Tail. Because it has 66% plus 33, we're at 99% chance to pierce, and that's what allows us to really do a lot of the big splash damage. And the reason why this build looks really well, and I'm going to show you towards the end of the video, is because when we fire the bolts, what's going to happen is, again, most of the time it's going to pierce, and when it pierces, and when it does damage, it's going to cause an exploding bolt, which does a lot of fire damage in an area, and that's what causes groups to just pop. This is especially effective in very clumped groups, like cows, for example. Very, very effective, very powerful. So the more explosions that happen, the more damage each of the monsters take. Okay, so those two items, mandatory. Unfortunately, and again, I know I said budget, non-budget. I believe that Flickering Flame is a mandatory item for this build. Now, you certainly can do it without Flickering Flame. You're going to be having to farm. You're going to be restricted to areas where they're not fire immune. Yes, I do have a Sunder Charm for fire, but you're not going to be doing enough unless you're doing players 1. You may be able to still. I just really, really believe that Flickering Flame is necessary. Yes, it does require Pull and Vex. You can start without it, certainly, and just farm in other areas where there are non-fire immunes, Stony Tombs, Pindle, whatever you like to do. But I highly, highly recommend that this is the first item you work up towards, because the +3 to fire skills, the minus to enemy fire resist, I made this myself. I rolled 14 out of 15. That's pretty good. It rolls from 10 to 15. The resist fire aura is also critical for helping offset the fire resist that you lose from the Sunder Charm. So again, I'm just going to tell you, in my opinion, this is mandatory. Okay, so you can play it without it, but it's not going to feel the same. Okay, so other than that, that's really all you need. Okay, All you're going to need here in stats is the Chukanu requires 80 strength, 95 dex. You need minimum strength and dex to utilize it. Then you're going to put vitality. If you're doing energy shield hybrid like me, then you do a little bit of mix of both. So I have each, right? Okay. Then what you want to do is you want to max fire as much as possible. You want as much plus to skills as possible. So let's go back to the skills really quick and let's talk about why in 2.6 this build is so viable. Well, look here. I have it at base level 40 right now. I'm actually going to show you that with my staff with +3 enchant leaf base, it's at 46. So let's do that really fast. Here, I'll take this off. Okay. So if we come here, and by the way, I hunted this in Act 2 normal from Drogman, and you just go in and out of town till you get one with +3 enchant. Do not take anything less. I highly recommend just get the +3, right? So when we go back to the skills, okay, so we're going to see here in the past, you see the 3,500 to 4,000 damage that would be added, including attack rating, right? The duration is monstrous. It's 20 minutes, right? So that's how it worked in the past, is the enchant would add that amount. But what happened now is they've made it so that Fire Mastery applies not only now when we're looking here to the damage, but it applies after the fact when we apply the enchant as well. And I'll demonstrate. So you can see here, it says 79 to 307. Again, before 2.6, it would have added that 3508 to 4066 to our damage. You're going to see here, since it's 324%, that's over 4 times damage. So let's see what we get. 15k to 18k. There you have it, right? So if you do the math, it actually checks out quite well because of that extra. So it's more than 4 times. Like I said, 4 times here would be 16k in the high end, but because of that extra 24%, again, if you do the math, it checks out. And it's truly something. So what I usually like to do is I'll come in the game and I'll do this on both. And I'm only doing this because I did eventually get called to arms. I don't normally need to. I just have it on my switch. But since I do, I just come in a game really quickly, do that, bring this back here, and now I'm good to go. And I can farm for 20 minutes without having to reapply enchant. Unless, of course, I die. But that's different. I don't, that doesn't typically happen. So there's that. Let's take a look at the Merc really quick. I use Insight, and I'll tell you why I use Insight in just a minute. But I have Insight. I don't have a ethereal one. I still don't have it. I still haven't found one. So I use this, what I have. I highly recommend Cure for Energy Shield. It's really, really beneficial because the cleansing aura, the faster hit recovery is good to a little bit of life, right? The poison length reduced. And for now, I'm using Treachery. Best in slot is going to be Chains of Honor. There is a budget version. There's a unique Demon Hide armor that I'm probably planning to get here shortly that has Life Leech and more replenished life on it. That's also good budget, but Chains of Honor is going to be best in slot because of the extra damage, the plus to skills. It has Life Leech. That's the main thing. So I don't have any Leech here right now, but what's interestingly enough, I'm using a Prayer Merc. Okay. So between Prayer, which gives us a plus 21 replenished life, right? Meditation. So if you look on the Paladin and the synergies of the Paladin, like if you go to your actual Paladin skill and you look at synergies on there, you'll notice that Meditation receives synergy from Prayer, and so does Cleansing Aura. And what they do is they gain the benefits of whatever level your Prayer is without the mana cost. So since it's level 18 Prayer here, we're getting the 18 Prayer when he's out and about, when it activates. We're getting, once it does, we're also getting the 18 Prayer here on the from the Meditation Aura, and we're also getting it from the Cleansing Aura. So we're triple dipping on the Prayer Aura, which is really, really nice. Additionally, the Cleansing Aura removes poison, which is the enemy of the Energy Shield Lightning Sorceress, right? I did a little bit of balance. I went in pretty hard on Vitality. I have 300 base points. That's just a preference. You can certainly go in harder on mana if you'd like. But that's what I have there for the Merc. Now I'm going to show you what I eventually have. One of the items is going to look kind of silly. I'll start with that. It's Enigma. Why do I have Enigma? Certainly not required. I had it on my Assassin, my Mosaic Sand, which I was trying out this build. And the reason why I liked it is very, very simple. The plus 63 to strength allowed me to basically save about 50 points of stats that I could distribute then down here to energy. That's literally it. This is not at all required. The other reason being is because of the magic find. I was using Skulders. Skulders was very useful. Skin of the Viper Magi, pretty budget item to use, right? I just really wanted around 200 magic find, which is what I have. I believe I have 227, sorry. So I have over 200, right? So what I really wanted was the magic find. That's the main reason, okay? I traded for this, plus 3 fire skills, MF. Again, you can do plus 2 skills, you can do Maras, you can do plus 3 just magical fire skills. Every skill really adds up quite a bit, so I'd highly recommend every plus skill you can. That's why I'm using this. Again, I want a more magic find. Of course, the Chukunu, right? Mage Fist goes without saying. Very simple, very easy. Where's my faster cast? Here it is here. I'd recommend going with this, or you could try to hit the 63 FCR breakpoint. To do so, you will need to use Viper Magi for the 30, 50 here. You'll need 10, and you'll need 10 here. So you'll need 10 on a ring. I'm using a Storm to Jordan. Again, this is not budget, but I'm showing you what you can use to what I felt was the most optimal. I'm going for damage. This is more of a glass cannon, but also not because of the triple aura as well as the CTA. So I feel that, especially if I'm soloing, I mean, it's just a breeze. I'm honestly never dying. And I can certainly do multiple player counts. You can do all the way up to players 8 if you want, especially if in Infinity, it'd just be a breeze, you know. But I really like the insight, okay? You absolutely, I should say, sorry. You definitely need Ravenfrost. You need Cannot Be Frozen because you are shooting bolts. You'll be severely crippled if you're frozen, okay? Also using War Travelers, again, this is not budget necessarily, of course. You don't have to use it. If you want, another great option is Sandstorm Trek, which is pretty cheap, pretty affordable. They have 20% faster hit recovery. I'm recovering that here in Small Charms. The reason being is 20% takes you up 2 frames, and that's a pretty big deal when you're getting attacked. So I really wanted to have that. Okay, so those are my items. I do have a Geeds. Of course, you need the Flame Rift. You want to break fire immunities, especially if you have Flickering Flame. And I chose to go all in on some Fire Skillers. This one costing me a bit more. The plain ones, some people list them for IST. You definitely don't need to pay IST. You can get away with Mal. You should be able to get 2 with an IST, probably. I think I did get that once. I think I bought 3 from one person at once for something. I think 3 was like Vex, and one of them was plus 7 life. So I was like, okay, sure. I think I paid Vex for this and another Mal here. So you don't need these, but let me just show you the difference in damage for each one we take off. Okay. Oh, it doesn't show. Okay, so we lose there. Each bit is quite a bit. It's pretty significant. I've of course buffed it at this point, so it's not really showing that much. But here I can show you. Well, anyways, you get the point. It's very significant. Since we've already buffed it, it's not going to show up as much. If we took off the, you know what? Here, let me do this. Here, let me show you. Okay. So this is going to be the easiest way to show. I'll go to here. So right now it says 3,000 to 3,506, 3,508. If we take one off, it goes down 2,847 to, so we're looking at about 150 minimum to about 200 max, and that might seem like much, but again, when we're talking about a 4 times decrease, okay, so that's actually 600 to about 800 damage. So that's quite a bit. That's quite a bit. It adds up a lot, you know. And of course, if I had, you know, if I had facets, like I saw someone once, I think had a 4-socketed magical armor with like plus 80 life, and then they had all facets. If you have that extra percentage fire damage more on top there, that's going to add up even more. So there's a lot of creative ways to play this build. I do have a torch as well. Again, not budget. I think this cost me Ohm plus something, Ohm Vex or something like that. It wasn't cheap, but I wanted the higher resist because if you didn't notice, my resists are not horrible, but they're certainly not great. Obviously, if I had this off, my fire resist would be capped, but you know, to be honest, it's okay. It's not too bad. The poison I'm not worried about, of course. The lightning, you know, oh, actually, I did find a small charm. I forgot about that. And I can take this off now. Where is it? Yeah. I remember I found that because I pumped a little more dex, so I didn't have to use that anymore. So, yeah, I mean, it's not terrible. The cold, I mean, we've got the Raven Frost, so it doesn't hurt as much, and the lightning's a little bit under. So, all in all, it's okay, right? It works pretty well. Just don't stand in front of melee character, you know, melee when you're amped damaged, and you're probably fine, right? Bolts you pick them up all the time. They're easy breezy. Let us just go and demonstrate really quick so I can show you what this build can do. Okay. So this is what I do. Let's go here. And then we just shoot into a group and they all pop just like that. So what I like to do is I'll come here, I'll do that. I'll go to Ariete Plateau. Oh wait, sorry. Teleports a little faster with the lidless wall on the secondary. I usually just stop to kill champions or uniques if I see them. There's one. Or champions, yeah. See, it's pretty straightforward. All I'm doing is shooting. And the Merc is pretty good. He can take pretty good hits. I think if he could, if I had Chains of Honor or the armor I mentioned, the unique demon hide, that it would be even better. You know? You can come over here really quickly and kill Pindle. He's very quick. You come in here, shoot a few bolts. They literally just pop, you know. Teleport back. What I also like to do is I'll go here, go to Travancore. And then I just reapply my call to arms. Come over here. Again, when they're in a group, it's much better. It's more effective. Reposition yourself when you need to. The Hydra's hurt. See my guy, he took quite a bit of damage there, but I mean, I have so many you know, of these that I don't even hesitate to use them. And then since I do have it filled up, I have a button configured for the cube. So I just do that. I really think if I had the life leech, he'd be even better. And then here, wait, what's Terrorizer the Plains of Despair? Usually I like to go to Chaos. And so, anyways, that's just a quick demonstration. This is super effective. I did this yesterday, terrorized cows, and it was just a breeze. I mean, it was super easy, you know. And so on higher players count, what's the difference? The only difference in higher players count is going to be the following, okay? This is the only difference. Because it's still just as effective. It literally can do players 8. So what you'll do is you'll teleport into a group. You'll static them down first, then you teleport away and shoot. That's it. It's literally that simple. And the reason why it works is... so what did I use the rest of my points on? Well, I decided to get Energy Shield that I mentioned earlier. I got it up to a certain level where it's here, where I get that 71%. Now it increases only a 1%. I maxed out Telekinesis, so that the mana consumed per damage is 75%, so I'm getting a lot of efficiency there. And then I'm pumping points into static right now. So right now my static, well, actually normally it's like this. It's about 10 yards. So what I'm trying to do is get it up to where it's about 16 yards. If I get 16, that'll cover the screen. Terror approaches Sanctuary. Is there a... Oh. Okay. Sure. Let me go to town and I'll kill a D-clone really quick. By the way, I can kill D-clone with this character. That's one of the funny things. Yeah, what was I saying? Oh, so I want to increase the static field ups, which is what I'm doing now. I mean, I'm 85. Only I expect I'll get at least 5 more levels. If not, you know, maybe 6 or 7, maybe, depending. But at least 5. I'll probably get to 90 at the very least. And I can get this up. If I get it up to around 16 yards, then, which, you know, may not be exactly that, but 16 yards would cover most of the screen. So you just static, 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 and then shoot. You know. So that's literally the only difference in higher players counts as far as damage output. It does more than enough. It really does. It's really something. I encourage you to try it out. Like I said, okay, so some budget alternatives. You need this. You need this. Use this because it's easy. You need this. Just get a +3 magical fire skills amulet. Pretty easy to trade for, or just use whatever amulet you have that works for you. Like I said, is Sandstorm Trek. Really great. You can use a rare with resists and faster run walk. I think the run walk's pretty good. Ravenfrost, definitely mandatory. You can get one for pretty cheap. I think I paid like Lem for this, and I found others too, so it's not a big deal. Use a faster cast ring. Use one with all resists if you need more resistances, right? Something with, you know, with life or mana. Stats like strength to save you if you want. Like I said, armor here. I think Viper Magi is extremely valuable and useful. If you want more MF like me, get Skulders. It's pretty budget, pretty inexpensive. Flame Rift Gram charms are pretty cheap. You shouldn't need much. Use the best charms you have. If you need to make up things like fast hit recovery, resist, put whatever you have here. I'd recommend a Geeds again if you're MFing. I would say if you can't afford a Sork Torch, but I can understand it's very expensive, I traded basically a Bear Rune to equip this character, everything other than the Enigma, which I already had. So use another torch you have just for the stats. Honestly, I'd recommend. There's, you know, you can get, you know, I think a Druid torch is really, really cheap, you know, to trade for. And then for the Merc, you know, this is, I mean, Shale Io Tal. It's very cheap. You can use, you know, Tal's Helm if you want for more leech. I just really like the prayer, meditation, cleansing combo. It's really valuable. And then Treachery is pretty budget as well, which is what I'm using right now. When he gets hit enough, he gets the Fade proc, and then he has max all resist. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Let's go kill Diablo. Why not? So last time I did this, my Merc had, oh shoot, my Merc had Guillaumes, so it went a little bit faster. Forgot static doesn't work. Yeah, it doesn't. Oh, come on, really? Okay, maybe that Guillaumes really mattered a lot. And my Merc mattered too, because wonderful. I really need to go get him. That is embarrassing. I need to keep him alive this time. Do I still have the Guillaumes on here? Did I put it on my... should I... No, I don't. Okay, well, that's fine. I'll get him. He's probably regenerating right now. Okay, I'll just keep my Merc alive and we should be okay. But yeah, it's a fun build. Check it out. Here, why don't you attack me instead? Oh! Did he get rid of my... He got rid of my energy shield, didn't he? That's why I was taking so much damage. Okay, well, anyways. What a way to end the video. Okay. Leave any comments, any questions, any concerns you have. Leave a like or give it a thumbs down if you think the build looks terrible. But otherwise, it's really, really good. I promise, try it out. It's fun. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.